To Russell Brand on Radio X. This being, as it is, a Sunday, a time for togetherness, unity and joy, we've decided to work out once and for all, what is the one true faith? Was it Buddhism that we were just listening to there? Is it Christianity? Possibly it could be. Is it Islam? We don't know for sure. Or is it good old-fashioned Judaism? Or could it be more complex even than that?
What are you doing?
I'm simply passing the time, sir, as I am paid to do here at Radio X. This is Russell Brand, and you're also listening to Matt Morgan. All right, Matthew?
Hello, mate. Why have you got those different sound effects?
Because I'm in charge of this desk.
He mentioned this till now, and then he unveiled that like some sort of magician.
That's right.
Or is it this? Jack buttons.
Didn't you think I seemed quite adept while I was doing that?
What?
Hold on a sec. Stop that for a moment.
You are... No, you're not adept. The worst thing is that you're good at riding the desk.
That is supposed to be driving, yeah, that's right. That's
Age of horse riding.
I know, I'm still approaching this like a Victorian antiquarian man. I shall make this confounded machine work. It's steampunk radio, everyone you're listening to. Thanks for tuning in for week 2 of the Russell Brand Show on Radio X. Thank you for Johnny Vaughan there. I heard him say some very generous and sweet things. Did you hear? He was saying that he's described himself. Yeah, very kind.
Lovely.
Very kindly gentleman. I enjoyed last week's show, did you, Matthew?
I did actually, yes.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Did you enjoy it especially? Have you got any... The podcast did well, didn't it?
Yeah. What, are we number 2?
If it weren't for S Club 7, we'd be top of that podcast chart.
What is that thing? That's
It's to do with mysteries, mate. It's to do with mysteries.
Millions of downloads.
But the older listeners, and let's face it, that's who we're reaching out to, will recall the time when the Beatles were numbers 1 to 5 in the hit parade in the United States of America, and we are both numbers 1 and 4. If by we, you mean me, and I do, because I've got so many personalities.
Not 1 and 4, You were 2 and 3 when I
was 1 for a brief moment there, but then bloody S Club 7 came marching back into the public consciousness.
You're really keeping an eye on it, aren't you?
Yeah, I watched
really
that.
Watching it, aren't you?
Sessionally.
Because what it is now, I'm drug and alcohol free, I'm pornography free, I'm in a very happy monogamous relationship.
Not doing pornography anymore?
No, there's no money anymore. The old rubber buttons works its magic and it's been cast aside. So now, yeah.
I'm pornography free.
What do you mean? That's my new phrase. Pornography free. Is that not a proper bit of language?
Massive victory, though.
You can watch us on Facebook if you want, and if you were watching us, you'd see my legs up on a desk like a man who could do pornography if he chose to. What I mean is that I don't look at even pornography. I don't look at it. I don't have nothing to do with it. I stay well clear of it. But with this leg high up as it is, and my enlightenment at a new high level... Oh, just stop, will you?
You know when he's going to...
Stop,
seamlessly press a button when he starts to look all twitchy. His finger up for about half an hour.
How dare you?
Turkey.
I'm brilliant. That's Mr. G you can hear there in the background. He's an important part of this show. At some point he'll be summarising it with a poem. Did very well. It was a very good poem last week, I thought, mate.
Yeah, well, we'll try our best. Yeah.
You left it lying around on the desk.
Buttons.
Huh?
You're not listening to anyone. You're just...
No, when I'm doing my buttons, I'm not plugged in. Not to the reality. It's just me and the buttons now, you see.
Riding that old desk.
When I'm riding, baby, that's me focused. If only I'd had a bet on the Grand National, I would have won.
Well, my granddad was called Arthur, and he always bet on the Grand National. My mum and dad were going to put a bet on for him from heaven.
Right, fair enough. Why not? Why let death stand in the way of gambling?
Exactly. And they forgot.
I forgot the same thing.
14-1.
Not motivated by, of course, a love of a deceased relative, but as you know, I starred in the smash hit movie Arthur, and as well, my name is Russell, and the person that trained that horse was called something like Geraldine Russell or something, and I was listening to it on TalkSport, another radio station. You can listen to that as well.
There was a lot of signifiers.
The signifiers were all there. It prompted me, and I was going to bet on the National, but then I didn't bet because I didn't want to become addicted to gambling. So I thought, well, maybe I would, you know. Yeah. So unfortunately, I've not had a bet. Matt, have you noticed that the newsreader's not in here now? The news is pre-recorded. What's happened to Sunta? Sunta the newsreader.
What honestly happened? Because what?
Well, she didn't want to come in with us.
She didn't like it, and she said it's because she didn't feel comfortable near you, Matt, or you, G.
That's not true.
And my smouldering charisma from across this island of...
Because something's happened. We were nice to her.
Pornography-free twitching that got to her.
Yeah.
She saw this man riding a desk with such dexterity, like a young Peter Capaldi in the TARDIS.
So she pre-records it now.
I think it was Neil, the producer's idea. I don't think it's as a result of any...
It was off-putting for you, because
I liked having the news read live.
Loved it.
So that news that you've just listened to pre-recorded, that stuff may no longer be relevant. It could be fake news. It could already have happened.
Been recorded from a gated facility.
From a refuge.
Rehab.
Hold on a sec, because I've got a lot of content to talk you through. What are you doing over here, Neil? Is it the levels that are problematic?
Yes, sorry.
Every time you come over here, I see it as a criticism of my desk riding, which I'm very sensitive about.
Very necessary criticism.
Right, so over the next hour, there will be 3 commercial breaks, around 20 minutes past 20 minutes and 40 minutes.
Don't switch off then.
Stay tuned
I'm
for
not going to
that.
say that.
All right.
That's on highlights.
There could be a commercial break at any time.
Ooh.
You never know when it might strike.
Can't advertise the advert.
2 minutes of commercials.
Can't stop talking about it.
Trade, checkertrade.com.
There will be news.
News
recorded.
Pre-recorded.
In the news
From
anyway.
a steel
the news
cube.
happens, you have to know.
Exactly, that was my point. You can't pre-record news. You can't just say, oh, Donald Trump's probably done something or another by now. He lives on his nerves, that man.
Go in that studio again.
All that Sunta needs to do is record every possible variable of what could potentially happen in the multiverses, and then take the rest of the week off. That's my advice to her. Of course, I'll be promoting my tour, the Russell Brand Rebirth tour. I
looked at dates, right, because I'm going to come, honestly.
Yeah, your parents are coming tonight in Dartford.
No, in Dartford.
Bob and Sue.
You go, it's quite sporadic around the country, because I was thinking, when are you in London? And that's
what do you mean? It's like I'm someone
like
twitching around the nation.
You're not actually out on a tour bus going around. You go home.
That's right.
You
look at
apologise.
the baby.
Oh, goodness me.
I'm so sorry. No, I can't go for long, prolonged periods away, Matthew. Not with my nerves. It'd be no good at all. So, I'll tell you what. There's a competition, and I need you to grow up and help me to devise it, because what it is to win tickets to see me in Southampton. Now, what's the number and how do you win this competition? What would be a good call?
How can we help you? Just ask us like we know already.
There's a competition which we need to devise.
That's it, devise. That's the word I was looking for. Could we devise
Isn't that
a
quite
competition?
specific to people who live in Southampton?
Yeah, you should. Well, yeah,
limited?
unless you travel. You could be Southampton, you could be Portsmouth, you could be anywhere along the south
You're all
coast.
over the world.
Right.
Not the world, the country. Sorry.
Yeah.
But but why are the tickets for Southampton?
Because we want to push those tickets.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what you think this is.
They are going to push tickets by giving away for free.
You're right. This whole competition needs to be devised from the ground floor once again. I'm glad I brought you on board. You are a clever man. You are a real whiz kid. So also we're going to be talking about news stories that are funny. We've had plenty of emails. Don't worry, I'm not struggling for content.
No,
Did I mention the advert? Look at this lovely bit of content that I'm very fond of. This is, I came up with a very good item. When have you tried to help someone but actually made things much, much worse? And that's not a reference to Christianity making things much, much worse. I just happened to press that. Could have easily pressed Buddhism.
Did you preload these?
Could have pressed Islam. Could have pressed Judaism. Now all the religions
done them all together.
blended together, yeah? And that's a comment.
And that's how harmonious it sounds.
Why don't all the great faiths come together as one faith? Could happen, could happen. Okay, so look, there's this. Hi, Russell, says Lorna. I tried to help someone by giving them the Heimlich manoeuvre, only to realise halfway through he was actually having a heart attack. Thankfully he survived, but I'm not sure my efforts helped. No.
That's not a bad idea, though, because don't they, compression on the heart, you sometimes do that to get them going. So
compressed in my heart, and you're to blame. You gave Heimlich a bad name. Heimlich, actually, you're not. The Heimlich family have banned that phrase from being used. Like when you sing Happy Birthday, you meant to pay 20p to the Happy Birthday family. Same with the Heimlich manoeuvre. Every time you mention it, you have to pay the Heimlich descendants 20p. You can check that. It's an actual fact. Matt?
What?
Don't you believe me?
No.
I know
Well, it's true.
There's something
You're meant to
about
call it some other manoeuvre. Like if you're on the TV and you go, like say on Casual, where they go, quick, do the Heimlich manoeuvre. They can't because
How
it's
much have we cocked up so far?
We are in great debt. That's why we're going to have limitless commercials just to pay for my mentioning of Heimlich.
Saying it.
What?
Stop saying it.
I know, I will. No, you're meant to call it some other sort of manoeuvre. Why did I let all these dissonant faiths become one true religion? Let's just stop them. Divide them out and have no religions. Now, I'm trying to play a record here, and hopefully it's going to happen simply by pressing a switch. It'll be as simple as that.
Radio X.
Stop pressing
The
it.
trouble with
Hold on a
investing in
second.
cash
No,
ISAs
this
these
is
days
chaos.
is that you never seem to get a decent...
Oh, that's all right. There's a record playing.
It's not it. That was a simple... Oh, okay.
That's the Strokes, isn't it? You can't argue with that. That was the Strokes.
It
You're
was
listening
them.
to Russell Brand on Radio X. It's a Sunday morning. We're doing this live. Hopefully you're outside enjoying the world, feeling
Nice day out
deep.
there.
It's a nice day out there. You should be feeling very peaceful and joyous. I suppose what this might be like listening to is someone discovering radio for the first time. Like, yeah, like for people that are familiar with the medium, and that means anyone born in the last
modern world
century.
For the first time, really.
I'm like a time traveller, aren't I, really?
Cat weasel.
Yeah, you've always said things like that about me. Matt, we've got to help. Look, there's a few things we've got to do. One, we've got to devise that competition, because it'll be texting a thing to win tickets to see me.
Are we going
in Southampton.
Is the winner selected today?
Yeah,
this is happening
during
within
the show.
Oh, right, okay, that's good.
This happens live. This happens absolutely live. To go we're on Facebook Live now. Rebirth Tour, Southampton, 2nd of May. That's what it'll be to win tickets to. We've got to devise a competition. Like, I guess it's like answer some question. They're never hard, these things. When you watch, say, This Morning or whatever, it's never like, how do we once and for all resolve the continual conflict in the Middle East? It's never about like geopolitics, is it?
Wouldn't it be the best person to put your head into some pornography?
Huh? Well,
Photoshop you into some pornography?
No, don't Photoshop me into pornography.
And you're not allowed to judge it because you're obviously not allowed to look at pornography.
So I'll never see it, and I have to just trust you two. No, it shouldn't involve pornography, Matthew, because the pornography industry is very cheeky, as we all know.
Pornography,
should happen.
abdominal thrusts, right?
Yeah. I was right about Heimlich, wasn't I? You can't use the words Heimlich manoeuvre without paying a small surcharge.
On Wikipedia it says abdominal thrusts, also called the Heimlich manoeuvre. But if that's the sort of, the non-branded term, abdominal, that's down there.
Yeah, it sounds different. And abdominal
It's up
thrusts,
here.
it comes up. You're more likely to be transgressing with the royalty laws with that, because I'm always using the phrase abdominal thrusts.
Also doing them.
I know. That is part of my. It's like a twitch to abdominally thrust, particularly since I've been granted control over this desk. Okay, so think of a right. Don't comp me into pornographic imagery.
Oh,
That's the last sort of thing we require. What we want is something nice, loving, to do with unity and togetherness. Gee, you're a poet. These are the sort of thoughts that should come effortlessly to your mind, like a young John Keats.
And what do they win? They win 2 tickets to
Southampton Rebirth. 2,
Right.
just 2.
How about the
two.
best renaming of the Heimlich manoeuvre?
All right. What should we call the Heimlich manoeuvre?
Stop saying it though.
What should
Call
we
it
call that
abdominal
manoeuvre?
thrusts.
Well, hold on, Neil, the producer, says we can't do that. Why?
Different T's and C's are required for that.
Different T's and C's. What sort of question can it be?
It needs to have like a
Definitive answer.
Definitive answer.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
Right.
Just 2 options.
2 options. Was it either...
A or B.
Right, it's got to be a simple thing.
A or B.
Yes or no. Like a simple binary question. Is that the right thing to
Okay.
do or not?
We'll think of one.
While you're thinking of that, this is from Grant Forrester. Hi, Russ, he says, referring to a time when he's tried to help people and it's gone dreadfully wrong. A bit like me when I tried to overthrow the government. Didn't work out, did it, sadly? But early days yet. I'm doing that degree at university, learning an awful lot of stuff.
They are quaking in their boots.
They're quaking. Some of them have taken off their boots
You
and
don't even do
replaced
your
them with
homework.
sprinting boots. I do sometimes do the homework. What I do is I've become friends with quite a lot of professors. Brad Evans, he's a professor.
Should we stroll in the grounds? The lecture yesterday. Russell, have you done your homework? Well, I mean, that's a question, isn't it? It goes back to the beginning of time, I suppose. Is that what it's about? Making friends with professors.
I have. Brad Evans, he's...
Ooh, I've heard of him.
He's the episode 1 of Under the Skin. He wrote a book called Liberal Terror.
Well, you meant your professors.
I've tried making friends with them, but they actually
Apple
meet
for
me.
a teacher.
There you go, sir. No, Sian Hawthorne, she's one of my professors, and she might be a doctor. I can't tell all the new words, but I'm pretty friendly with her. I call her up for advice. I go, right, because I have to sometimes do presentations with the other students. They're all about 22 years old. They're sharp as tacks, these kids. They come from all around the world. They speak amazing English. They know all about postmodernism, critical theory, religious and political history. They're real bright as buttons. They're all clever clogsies. But what they don't do...
What do you do? Hold up the
befriend
poster.
professors.
Point to the words as they say them and nod.
No, well, obviously I've got very friendly, very cosy with a lot of the professors there. And I'm relying on street smarts, mate. School of Hard Knocks, yeah? University of Life. Kindergarten of a kick up the arse. That's where I learned my street smarts.
E-.
Damn, another one. I've not done actually any homework yet because I find it a lot of
Do you
pressure.
have any grades yet?
Nah, well, no, because I keep not doing the homework.
You
But
bring in like a weekly report. To
Yeah, I'd like to go parents' evening for your university. That's your parent.
we're very concerned about Russell's
Worried about
progress.
him. He's got a stash of pornography in his desk. Things we don't know about.
He doesn't wear trousers and pants. We also want to change that holding image where I look like a sort of a vampire's uncle in a film about young vampires.
You look like a
I'm-
self-help guru with no trousers and pants on.
Yeah, it's a waist-up shot, and I look I look elderly and I look concerned. That image won't be there. We'll do a new photo shoot. We'll all be in it. Look at there I am now. I look like a werewolf. I look like a werewolf mid-change. I look like like have a look at it on Facebook. It's up there now. Russell Brand back soon.
It's like the latest version of Teen Wolf, you know?
Yeah.
You're like Teen Wolf now. It went terribly wrong. Octogenarian wolf.
Uncle Wolf.
Huh?
I was going to say Granddad Wolf. but
Octo
it's more
Wolf.
Uncle Wolf.
Uncle Wolf. Yeah, he's still got it a little bit. He could still go out to a
Mind
singles
you, the
bar,
dad
hang
in
out
Teen
tragically.
Wolf, he was still a teen. He was a wolf,
wolf
wasn't he?
as well,
He was
yeah.
Yeah, but he was no Teen Wolf, mate. He was very portly. He was the shape of a barrel, the fella, wasn't
true,
he?
yeah.
And he could have told young Marty McFly earlier, if you ask me. He should have said, Marty, you will be turning into a Teen Wolf any minute now. Here's some advice. We will be continuing with these themes. We will be inventing competitions. We will be telling you how people have tried to help each other, like Grant Forrester. One day a baby bird was in the middle of my lawn on a blistering hot day. I put a chair over it to protect it from the sun, then thinking it must be thirsty, I tried to dribble water into its mouth from a pipette. It took a couple of mouthfuls and then keeled over and died. I felt awful. Tried to help, ended up making things worse. You think of times that you've done that. Think of a competition for yourself to answer, then answer it. And also, think about these products. That's some commerce for you there. That's the way that the world works. There's no point complaining about it. If you want to talk to us, you can. You can tweet us on @RadioX, or you can text us 83936, or you can email russell@radiox.co.uk. I've had some tweets here. Some people say, like Gary Yates, the comedic value of Rusty Rockets, that's my Twitter name, is elevated by the fact that Russ is utterly useless on the desk. #funny, hurtful. Lindsay says, Russell, please let Matt drive the desk.
Yeah.
Simple
I
as
honestly
that.
can't remember how to do it.
No, of course you won't. Hey, Russ, Matt and G, says Dan. The Matt Morgan Appreciation Society are meeting in Manchester at the end of this month. Matt, I can't believe that after everything you've put the radio listeners of Earth through, the Matt Morgan Appreciation Society hasn't disbanded.
They're still appreciating me.
They still appreciate it, and they've never invited me to
Worldwide.
speak. We would like to
Worldwide.
invite Matt to culturally review the occasion. It takes place on Saturday the 29th. Saturday the 29th, so it could be reviewed on the show on the 30th. This person's producing our show for us. We've got producers here. We've got Gareth, we've got Neil, we've got Jen. Matt, would you consider, I mean, with the man with an ego as bloated as your cheeks used to be when you met Slash, surely you would love to go and culturally review an appreciation society of yourself.
My nightmare. I've met those people sometimes and they're nice,
Yeah.
but imagine going to a thing where everyone appreciates you.
That's my life, baby. That's every day for old Russ out there in the world. Appreciation.
Why is it in
appreciation.
Manchester? If it was nearer, maybe I
They
would.
don't appreciate you enough.
Not down
Yeah.
in the south, mate. You're not.
That
The people in the
appreciates me.
south are not from. It's because you're from the south. Because you're a Dartford lad. What else
Some
is
of them
there
have
on
met me,
here?
that's why.
I think you should consider going, Matt, because that's called gratitude. Luke, friend of the show, goes. This is his question of the day. He's going to do this every week. Evidently, he's not being paid. He's not being asked. This is what.
Is it an
people
A or
do.
B answer? Because he could
Oh, it's a
be in charge
shame.
of the competition.
Yeah, Luke. If you could go back to history at any time for one day, where would you go? I think I'd go back to Victoria in London, have a waltz around, see if I could get in with the royals, get it friendly with Victoria, particularly after Albert died. She was so vulnerable, wasn't she? She was so vulnerable after the death of Prince. I could have had big gold bloody great statues in every park in London by now. No?
Well,
Well,
he just turned up as some weird visitor from the future.
they'd love a weird visitor from the future, wouldn't they? I'd be able to
Yeah.
tell them what was going on. It'd be like, good night, sweetheart, another Nicholas
You've got
Lyndhurst
tattoos.
vehicle.
They'd think you were some weird sailor.
They would, wouldn't they? My God, a time traveller sailing through time, and perhaps time is an element like the water.
Have you not got a bed for that?
Hold
a
on a
little
minute.
sound thing you can press.
Right. Or perhaps time is like a chariot of fire. Or perhaps time is a bit like, wait a sec, like a school with a sausage being thrust towards.
Why have you got those noises?
I don't know. Neil arranged them for me. I think they're lovely noises. Don't criticise Neil. You're ruined. But this is very good because we're on Radio X, and look at that. Yeah, we're on Radio X. Okay, and then this really gives us an idea of the expertise we're talking about. So, okay, let's ask a genuine question that's got an A or B answer. For heaven's sake, right?
Yeah, no. This sort of thing's meant to be done off air, I suppose. But
You're right. This isn't contest. I mean, how postmodern and meta are we? I mean, Katie Hopkins is somewhere in this building, isn't she? She's broadcasting
she's in this
now.
building.
We could go and find her, and Is it possible to save Katie Hopkins' soul with pure, undiluted love? Answer A, yes, or B, no. I think it's yes. I think everyone can be redeemed through the
don't give
love
away
of
the
the
answer.
ulterior conscience. Oh, we don't know. Maybe it's not possible.
Everyone will be going to Portsmouth.
Southampton, you fool!
Oh, sorry.
Portsmouth are their hated enemies! What's wrong with you, man? So, yeah, you can text us, can we save Katie Hopkins' soul? 83936. There is a definitive answer to that, and I happen to know it. So you can text us there.
Why don't you just go, what martial art does Russell practice at the moment? Is it A,
Oh, you're brilliant.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Jiu-jitsu, or is
B,
it C,
is it,
Krav Maga?
is it Judo?
Or is it B or C, Judo? Yep, very good. And if you want to text us to answer that question, and you won't be able to, I'm challenging you. If you want to come and see me in Southampton on the 2nd of May, you just have to text the word rebirth, your name and your answer to 83936. Is it Jiu-Jitsu or is it Judo? That's all you got to do. 83936.
So,
Huh?
no, just say the word.
Jiu-Jitsu.
They just
Or
put
is it
A.
Judo what I do? Do I do Judo or do I do Voodoo? Hoodoo.
That judo that
What do you do?
so well.
There you go, see, it could be either one of them. Text us at 83936 with the word rebirth and the word jiu-jitsu or judo, depending on which one you think it is. But I liked my Can We Save Kate Hopkins' Soul through pure love.
And you believe that you can?
I think anyone can be redeemed. I believe in redemption. I believe in forgiveness. Thank God I believe in forgiveness, otherwise I wouldn't have a job on the radio, would I?
So would
Or
you
any
say
jobs.
would you say that the word irredeemable should be removed from your vocabulary?
Only as no, leave it there as a frame of reference to show us the value of redemption. But I think it's worth considering if you look at Isaiah, which I do. It's a book out of the Bible. It goes fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name, you are mine. I was once in Brixton Prison. Don't ask too many questions. I guess I hang out with a pretty rough crowd. I was in the chapel at Brixton Prison.
I know it, yeah.
Yeah, don't try and out-prison me, G.
I could out-prison you.
I've been in plenty of prisons. I like a bit of the old rough stuff myself.
Both of them haven't been there for criminal reasons.
I-
She does poetry
I
there.
went to visit Matt.
Russell, what do you do there?
I went there to help people with drug problems, and it was really funny because there were some people having yard time. I know the slang. I know
Yard
the slang,
time?
right? And they went to me like they knew that I was there for drug type reasons. I went, "Oh, all right then, Russell. Just so you know, yeah, call Frank, call Frank." They were shouting all like actual like anti-drug slogans. Anyway, I was meant to be reading out a letter of note, Letters Live. It's this thing, right? And also there was like Kate Tempest. She's a poet.
she's brilliant.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He's a
Actor.
famous star. I was next to him. I was feeling a bit nervous, you know, because there was a big crowd there. I thought I was going to be reading these poems and letters to the prisoners, you know, because as you know, I love prisoners.
Well, who were, what, so loads of celebrities just went
Loads
in
of
a room
celebrities.
of the prison,
There's a-
read poems to each other and then went home?
Yeah, it's sarcastic, isn't it?
Brixton's changed, Matt.
They only let 2 or 3 prisoners in there to watch. I thought it was like a VIP event. I thought it was going to be flooded with prisoners and I'd have a chance to really reach out, man.
What were you wearing? Like your little orange jumpsuit?
I had little plastic handcuffs on, furry handcuffs from a joke shop. Oh, guys, I've been through the bloody mill. I'm right there with you. No, like I was, I wanted to do stuff with prison radio, me. I wanted to help all sorts of people.
Good station.
Yeah, we should give them this for
What
nothing.
about you told me that you went to was it when you went to a prison and all the slang had changed and you were really out of date and they didn't know what score meant?
That was
Yeah, when I used to score drugs. And they went,
What are you talking about?
Yeah, they didn't know that word.
They weren't prisoners. They was just young people. Well, on their way to prison. no, they're fine. They're going to be cool, them kids. But anyway, when I was in Brixton Chapel at Brixton Prison, it says on the wall, "Fear not, for I've redeemed you. I've called you by your name. You are mine." And I did feel a bit scared because I had to read that letter out. And then I thought, what's this saying? Fear not, for I've redeemed you. And I thought, redeem means redemption or salvation, but also redeem means cash in, like redeem a voucher. And if you belong to the universal consciousness, if you belong to the ulterior force that is the cradle of all reality, then you can never be afraid because you are carried by the Lord. Or are you carried by something far darker?
This is about Katie Hopkins.
To meet Satan, I'm sure, in spite of everything, what he bloody went and put Jesus through. Poor fella, absolute bloody outrage is what I think. Oh, they're still going. Quiet, lads, that's enough now. How many more times?
Yeah.
They're gone, don't worry.
Not this again.
Why not? Why do you think I'm being too evangelical? Is it because I'm playing
Because at the
religious
end,
music?
I think it's when you build up to the end of a link and
Yeah.
you're developing some thinking time to which button you're going to press.
Yeah,
You're
that's
talking,
right.
"Oh, can't we all be together on a Sunday? Togetherness and which button is it? I've got to keep talking like this." You turn into a weird evangelical person.
You can criticise me if you will, mate, but I've mastered those
It's like
buttons.
that QVC, like that shopping
Yeah.
channel where they're
Yeah,
trying to
they
get you
fill
to
in
sell
time.
something. Yeah.
Fill in time, but
Well, let me tell you this. You may see a man before you that's fulfilling time with evangelical powers and passions, but is that not what we're all doing on our short time on planet Earth? But what I see before me is a man whose competitions are going very well. The lines are blowing up. That could be because I've pressed the wrong button. or it might be because people are dying to tell me that it's jiu-jitsu or is it judo that I do, indeed. Which one is it? Also, we're talking about whether or not you can redeem pure evil simply with love. One of the questions. And another thing, you know, there's that. Guess who decides wins the competition? The algorithm. The algorithm, Matt. Is this the age where the algorithm is God? That's just one of the things I was discussing.
what, a randomizer?
Is it a randomizer or is it an algorithm?
Well,
What's the difference?
Well,
Well,
it's
an
an
algorithm's
algorithm.
logic and a randomizer's not logic. So is that the two components of human consciousness? The unconscious
he's looking
mind.
for a button again.
Oh. Or could it be
I
that it...
believe it was said. With a button.
No, what I'm saying is that the algorithm is now like the Lord. The algorithm decides whether or not you can have a mortgage. The algorithm that decides whether or not you're free. Oh,
Is that your new revolution against the algorithm? That
I've
you
got to
don't
bring-
really understand what it is.
I've not understood. Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of my revolutions, I don't understand my opponent. That is true. Let me stop you now, darling. Oh, come on, love. Pipe down, dear. No, when I done my podcast last week with Yuval Noah Harari, I love saying his name.
I know, you
It took
do.
me so long to learn it. Yuval Noah Harari. Oh,
Did you call him that all the way through?
Yeah, I kept saying it. And professor at the beginning, because I always call them professor on Under the Skin to emphasise that they're an actual professor.
Is that how you get on it? You have to be a professor?
You should be a professor if you're coming on. If you're coming on, you should be a professor.
Adam Curtis isn't a professor.
I know, I shouldn't have let him on, really. I regret it. But he was good. He done a good job, to be fair to Adam Curtis. He done a good, especially for a fella who's not even a professor. Yeah, when I was talking to Yuval Noah Harari, it was him that told me that that intelligence and consciousness are two separate phenomena, and intelligence is now, because of AI, artificial intelligence, is at a point where human beings are almost obsolete. But he said it won't be the glamorous world of the Matrix. It'll be some drab little cell where we're kept moderately happy, powerless and impotent.
By machines or by algorithms?
I can't remember. I switched off, but I was just practicing. Next time I'd say Yuval Noah Ferrari. Harari! Hip hip Ferraro! No, he's bloody good, actually. It's well worth
So what's
listening to
consciousness
Skin. No one knows,
What's
Chick.
the future for
No one
consciousness?
knows what consciousness is. That's one of my key points. It's always been one of my key points. Who knows what consciousness is? Your guess is as good as mine, my friend. Good as mine. Probably a bit better, because you might have thought about it a bit more. Okay, so that competition, we're going to wrap that up after, say, I don't know, when? About half an hour?
You have to put a time limit on it, so what time is it now? I'd say, yeah.
12:05, it stops dead. No matter what. So you've got until then to answer. What is it I do? Jiu-jitsu or judo? Do you know? And you can text that to 83936. That's to win a pair of tickets to see me out at Southampton on May the 2nd. Is that right? Let me have a little look at the old thing that I've got here. Yes, that's 2nd of May. Or you can just watch us live on Facebook right now.
I know, what is going on? This is meant to be radio. There's 6 cameras on us here. We're massive bright lights.
Yeah, it's not
I
good.
don't even. I thought I, didn't have to brush my hair for
Yeah.
this.
No, I can see.
I've got a missing tooth.
I know, you should get that replaced.
I know, I haven't got round to it, but
Gold
now on
one?
camera every week, I'm going to have to.
Well, that's right, mate.
Not
This
gonna
is
get a gold
showbiz. Why? What are you going to get? Mother
I
of
did think
pearl?
about a silver one, but then I just thought, just get a tooth that looks like my other teeth.
Why? You went full circle.
Yeah.
Get a golden one, I think.
No, that's 290s.
290s. Okay.
You wouldn't get a gold tooth.
Oh, yeah, that competition needs the keyword rebirth. If you don't put that in your text, then we're going to just ignore it. So for heaven's sake, do put that in.
so
And
it
'cause it probably
trends.
costs you 10 pence, does it?
Standard rate.
Standard rate. Mm.
So who gets that money, Russell?
Yeah, where's that go? Who does get it?
I don't know.
The phone lines. We should get a piece of that, shouldn't we?
The
Poor
algorithm-
cheese
the
going home on the
algorithm gets
bus.
it.
Yeah, we're going to sort you out a bit of cash for doing this as well.
The
G.
algorithm gets it, man.
Yeah, the bloody algorithms after everything. Everyone should be getting paid for their contributions to this show. It's an absolute must. Now, Matt, what's going on with your landlady or whatever it is? Aren't you about to be turfed out into,
No, I'm
into
not
the
now.
streets?
She wanted to put a 6-month break clause in my contract.
But you're a family man. You've 2 kids. You've a wife.
Yeah, and that's I've had that before, and once they put that in, it means you've got to get out 6 months.
Does
They
it?
don't. They only put it in when they want to kick you out.
Right. Yeah.
6
otherwise-
months.
Yeah.
But no, so I phoned her, and
You took care of the matter for yourself.
I just thought, why go through an estate agent? I'll just phone her because we've got her number. And then I had this weird conversation with her, and she's got. I hope she doesn't listen to
I
this.
doubt she listens to
Doesn't
Radio
listen to
X.
this,
How
is she?
old was she? Do you imagine?
60 something.
This radio station struggles to get female listeners. That's why we got the gig. There's no way any woman that's
Struggles to get
listening.
female newsreaders into the same.
She's in the steel cube. That was the one listener we had, was the lady that does the news. And go on, but she's in her
Phoned her,
60s.
she had the exact voice of Monty Python women.
The mother of Brian.
He's not the Messiah.
No,
You'll
that's not-
pay your bloody rent or you'll be out in your ear. Like that, honestly.
Yeah, like that.
That's how she
Honestly.
speaks.
So what's she
But
saying?
hello, yes.
How's she got herself into like a Mrs. Moneybags
Owns a string of properties. I don't know how she did the deals with that
on the
voice.
by,
That's probably
by
why.
email?
I'll give you $5,000.
People just went, well, all right.
I suppose so. It is daunting to you. That's what. Tell me what happened to you. my
Well,
friend.
she said, well, at first I said, well, you know, look, you've put the rent up a little bit, and we asked you to paint the place, but you haven't painted it. So she went,
Well,
and then you know when someone like all this backed up rage comes out. She
I do know about backed up. She switched.
and she went,
well, actually, I was very upset to hear from Nigel.
whoops, I should have changed his name.
Who's Nigel?
David.
Could have been Ken. Could have been Kenneth. Kenneth.
It wasn't Nigel. It
No.
was David.
David.
From David. Not Nigel.
Nigel's been nothing but help. I've only good things to say about Nigel. At
The
this stage.
handyman, who we thought was, well, he is really nice. I've got to be careful now, haven't I? He is really nice. He comes around and fixes things when they, you know. But she
Handy.
said,
I heard from David.
David the
Very
handyman.
upset to hear from David. You've attached lots of animal heads to the walls.
Have you?
no.
Have you?
There's 2 antique buffalo skulls on wooden things.
man, that's
She
not
made it sound like we'd killed foxes and like drawing pinned their heads to all the walls in our house.
All over the walls of the house, animal heads.
You're like a Canadian furrier. Your whole house is like a haunted Hammer House of horror. It's alive with skulls. What have you done to the
And I was saying,
property?
hang on a minute, that makes us sound like serial killers. We haven't done that. I said, there's 2 antique buffalo. And then later on in the conversation, that's, you know, when it doesn't register with someone. She went,
That, all those animal heads.
I was like, there's no animal heads on our walls.
That
Come
poor
round.
woman. I'm going to come and do a
You've
thorough
seen
check
it, I
for
think.
animal
I
heads.
think you've been round. You would have noticed.
Matthew, my eyes were cast downwards because of the sheer number of animal heads. Yeah, that's right. Do whatever you choose to do. You're free, ain't you? Let's see what Katie Hopkins is up to over on LBC. There she is.
Cameraman has been mugged, his equipment stolen. He
Oh,
had to
no.
return to the
What?
UK.
Is that crossing the streams? Is that dangerous?
I am
Yeah,
not
yeah, Ghostbusters.
frightened, Hassan.
This
by
is all right.
anyone.
This
I
is
don't
a radio
have
vortex.
An agenda, but what I prefer
I see
to do,
you.
which I think is rather different to many of my colleagues here at this radio station,
Ooh.
and indeed many of the other columnists.
Now, you keep still,
Quite a posh
Katie, old
radio
dear.
was, didn't she?
She sounds lovely, I think. I think all this love we're beaming at Katie Hopkins is having a real impact, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
She sounds a lot better. There's a lovely email here from Alice, who calls herself Grey World in another identity. She says, I'm really grateful to have you back on air. My boyfriend Paul and I were getting to the end of listening to all the old radio shows and podcasts on repeat. And we really hoped and prayed to have you back together and to know that you're all still friends. I live in New York, but I work as an occupational therapist in Hull, which is a long drive in a very old car. Gareth is pumped to hear the word Hull and only has a CD player, so I download podcasts to have you guys keep me company. You're so integrated into our lives. It's like you're our best mates. Oh, that's really lovely. So the thought of you talking about us on air will blow our little socks off. I'm currently away from Paul in Malta for a festival. Paul is at home hungover in New York. It'll be bloody great if you could read this out while he's feeling fragile, no doubt missing me and listening to the show without me. Maybe Mr. G will fit us into the poem. Malta is very cold and windy right now. I think England is having a heat wave. That's from Alice. And I tell you why Malta's cold. It's to do with bloody Brexit, probably, is it? Probably don't know what's going on. He's in the middle of a tempest, lost in a whirlwind. 96 Bonnie and Clyde. Me and my girlfriend, which happened to be Tupac's gun, if I've understood the
Yep.
way that hip-hop
Picked you up
works.
when you were 22.
He's a very, I mean, what a genius, what a great, I've just caught on to this Tupac fellow, I think he's got a lot of talent and a very bright future. That competition's all but finished, no, it's going for a little bit longer, text the word rebirth and
15 minutes left.
15 minutes, no, there's plenty of time for you to respond
Make
to
your
that.
little 10p's.
Yeah, no, I don't make them. I wouldn't accept them. I really wouldn't. There's no way that I'd take it. Matt, are you a bit concerned about old David? You've thrown him to the lions, haven't you, old
Well, I'm a bit
handyman
worried,
Dave?
yeah. I mean, there was more to that story, even that the tumble
Go
dryer.
on.
Well,
What have you done to your
David
tumble
grassed
dryer?
us up. The tumble dryer, we got a new tumble dryer, and then it was replaced quite soon after because it started going.
It's like it was
that.
remorseful. It's like Morrissey tumbling, drying your washing.
It was like a seal was in there. An animal, the seal. Because the seal.
Which he would have hated, Morrissey, because he loves seals.
Oh, God.
particularly.
It was a nightmare. But, like, and then I said about that. No, she said about that. She said, "Oh, and we got you a new tumble dryer, and then and I said, well, that wasn't our fault.
Hey, we got you a new tumble dryer. The fluff was backed up to the pipe. You meant to empty the fluff.
I said, well, we did empty the fluff. It was a mental conversation with her.
Why don't you ring her up now and get her on the damn wireless or record her?
Brilliant.
I like the sound of this lady.
I did think when I was talking, I was thinking her voice is rather special. I need to record this, but I think that's illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
It is. Neil just nodded.
Matthew, come to old Russ. I know the laws of the airwaves better than most. Let's see how Katie Hopkins is doing.
Is that I choose not to sit here.
She's getting
on this
better
chair
every
and
time we
just
go.
gob off about things. I
Oh.
choose to go.
Katie! Don't you dare, dear! Not on the wireless.
Is she somewhere that we can go and look in a window and see
course
her?
she's
Yes,
just
she
upstairs.
is. Because
She's up-
Neil's lying and he's laughing.
We could run
You
up there.
could run up there,
Yeah.
show her your bum. Oh no, don't do that.
Brilliant.
Actually,
Yeah,
That's
do it.
She'll probably
Do
go.
it.
That was a sex assault.
Oh, no. All right, we'll just go up there. 2 thumbs up in the air for Katie. Why not?
Just go. Yeah, go on.
Go up there and say, I've come to redeem you.
Take a photo of yourself, like
There
a selfie
with
with her in the background.
I'll do it, Matt. You think I'm scared? I'm not scared. I've danced with the devil in a pale loon.
Do BJJ or judo?
Which one is it? 83936. Text the word rebirth. Tickets for Southampton rebirth tour. Here is some news. Could it be fake news? Could it be actual news? Has news got any value? With all this information accessible to us, has information become absolutely worthless? Well, not in Disneyland, it bloody well ain't. A Walt Disney World patron has been accused of choking a girl who was blocking her view at the Magic Kingdom fireworks show, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I was once in trouble with the Malibu Sheriff's Office.
Oh, I remember for throwing a phone through a window or something.
No, that was what I done was I let
Florida.
I let some goats out of their pen in Malibu because I was emotionally fragile. I was staying in a house in Malibu.
Pre-fame or?
Mid-fame. You can't stay in a house in Malibu without a bit of fame, mate. They ain't cheap in places in Malibu. And there's some other people, they said, I was staying there, just being pensive, writing, looking out the sea, coming up with ideas and notions, dreaming of a better future, not just for me, Matt, but for all of us. And they said, we need to let someone else in the house now. It's a bride and groom. They're having their wedding here next week. Do you mind if they come and have a look round? I was fragile then, mate. And I went, no, absolutely not. I need to be alone with my thoughts, I said. And I wouldn't, and they goes, well, come on. They only want to have a look round for their wedding. Their wedding's here next week. And I went, no, if you let them meet people in here, this was on the phone. This was my estate agency, so I've had trouble with estate agents too. I goes, I'll let all these goats out their pen. There was a pen full of goats. And they said, hold on a sec, steady on, old boy. I say, I'll let the goats out the pen. I'll let the goats in the house. And you know what goats are like, unbridled, Matt. That's why they're
Why wouldn't you just let some people come and look? What were you up to in there? Was this pornography day?
This was mid-porn.
He had a big rainbow arch of porno mags on his favourite page, all over his bed.
All fanned out. They can't come in.
I'll release the goats. The goats that you were able to release.
That's
at a
right.
Posh Malibu mansion.
That's how posh it was. Like
They had goats.
It had its own goats in a paddock full of goats, and rats were in there as well. They were there of their own accord. They weren't.
What, they
part
were
of the
just... Well,
system.
it doesn't sound very posh to me. It sounds like a rancid old farmhouse.
I was paying their money hand over fist to stay in that place. They called the Malibu Sheriff Department to say we've got a madman in that. I had to go down and hide at the beach for a while, keep my head down.
Really?
Well,
Did they get to
absolutely.
look round the house?
I think they did, and they said that the pornography selection was lovely, and they used it as some bunting, I think, for their wedding.
What happened to the goats?
I didn't let them out because I thought it would be cruel to the goats.
It was just
actually.
an empty threat.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to let goats out without
Well, so you
foreknowledge.
made a threat. They called the police. You ran away to the beach.
Yeah, I guess I live on the edge, don't I? I guess I'm a pretty crazy guy. I never know what I'll do next. It's not particularly relevant, but I just felt like pressing a button. It's when you've got that sort of power, Matt, it's difficult to resist it. And that's why it's worrying having old Trumpletons up in the White House. Now, so let's listen to this. Guns N' Roses. They'll be coming out very shortly, as well as a competition winner. But first, let's continue with some news. The victim, remember, of a choking I mentioned some time ago, the other side of a bridge of madness melded from the minds of mental men. The victim, who was visiting the theme park with a group of students and chaperones from her out-of-state high school, was with friends waiting for the show to start, and a family was sitting behind them. When the show began, the girl and her friend stood up so they could get a better view. According to an arrest report, you can't always trust those, the family sitting behind them asked them to sit down in order they could see better. Sit down, sit down. Tabitha Mature was aggravated about not being able to see the display. Well, you'd think if she was as mature as her name suggests, she would take that in the spirit it was intended and grow up about it. So the girl and her friends decided to leave. As they were walking away, the victim told Mature, "You can take our spot." Deputy said Mature grabbed the girl by the neck and squeezed and pushed her head towards the ground, which you could do in jiu-jitsu, or is it judo? and told her, "You don't want to mess with me," according to an arrest affidavit. The victim's friends got the girl away and found a Walt Disney World employee to report the incident. If you're in Walt Disney World and you find yourself being choked, that really undermines the whole Walt Disney experience.
Yeah.
It's meant to be a magic kingdom that's about fun and wonder.
World of Revenge. No, that's Chessington.
That's Chessington, G. That's a very different...
Crossing the streams.
Yeah, Chessington's a very different thing. Choking in Chessington it could happen. It's likely. It's preferable. But like in the magical kingdom, that shouldn't happen.
The thing is, with like, if Mickey was there or Donald, you know, the sort of people in the costume.
Yeah.
Sorry to break the illusion.
What?
They can't stop smiling. So if they saw that,
Mickey would be benignly smiling.
Mouse watched the whole thing. I was smiling.
You can wipe that smile off your face, sir. You just witnessed an act of aggression and you stood by casually texting. What's wrong with you, Mickey Mouse? These bloody mice mascots
He wouldn't be
coming over here.
texting with his big foam hands.
No, he wouldn't be able to, would he? He'd jab away his phone in just with his elbow, I suppose. We were meant to listen to a record, Matt, but I've talked so long that it's not even an option anymore. We've got a lot of strands here. We're trying to make Katie Hopkins better, just with pure love, We're trying to resolve your issues with your landlady, a landlady that's...
They're resolved. Me and her, we're
How did you
good
resolve
until
it?
she hears this.
Oh, yeah, then it's ruined. And
She won't
David,
hear
next
this,
time
and if
he
she
comes
does,
tampering
if
with your
she's
plug hole,
listening.
it'll be a problem. What are you going to say to
There'll be an
David when he comes round looking
Who,
at the
Nigel?
floorboards?
No, he's all right. The fact that, I think, you know, look, it's like Chinese whispers. He said they've got...
That's probably racist now, don't you think? That's what people always say to the accusation of racism. Nah, I'll tell you why it is because it's like, oh, you can't trust the Chinese, they'll whisper one thing, then they'll whisper another, don't you think?
All right, well, rename Chinese whispers then.
Okay.
Whispers.
Now, this is tricky, isn't it? Who don't we trust?
Whispers. I gave it tricky whispers.
Tricky whispers from the undesirables. Benefit cheat whisperers. Let's call up Katie Hopkins and find out which marginalised group we can safely accuse of whispering. I don't think anybody anymore should be whispering. But anyway, go on. Have you resolved it with the landlady?
Yeah, it's all resolved, really. We've got a 12-month contract.
Yeah, I think it's time for you to...
I've taken all the animal heads down. And
get them down. Your gothic palace of wonder. What's this your little boy thinks is Halloween music, Cohen?
Oh, he likes classical music.
And he thinks it's Halloween music?
Yeah, how do you know that?
Your missus put it on Facebook. My missus has seen it. It's like gossiping over the
Did they know
garden
that?
fence.
No, I put it... he sometimes presses the button on the radio and changes it. And then it was classical music, and I thought, well, this won't last. And he went, oh, I like this. It's Halloween music.
Why does he think it's Halloween music?
Well, did you know why? Because the first one was that...
It's not played on a kazoo. It's full of grandeur, that. What, who is that, Gareth?
Peer Gynt. Something to do with... Yeah. In the
Peer Gynt
Hall of
by
the
who?
Mountain King or something?
I thought it was Charge of the Valkyries.
No, that's... No, I can't remember how that goes.
It was my intro music
What
for
was
my
the intro?
last tour.
That song...
It's a bloody good bit of music. Gareth got a lovely
Fascism.
video for that.
Coming on stage to that.
Well, I've always thought that the fascists were not a bad bunch. They were now they may have made a few errors along the way.
And the best tunes.
They did have the tunes weren't the problem. It was the genocides we were always against. But he likes it, does he?
He likes it. Well, it's changed now, but he likes lots of weird stuff. Prodigy, he likes.
I suppose
Ramones.
he likes Prodigy, Ramones, and what he calls Halloween music already.
Yeah.
What a lovely boy. What a lovely lad. Right, let's just listen to a few little lads, then we'll be back here. Oh, nice for Nanny.
Go and bother Hopkins.
I'm going to go and bother her. Right, we're back now. We're back from Dancing with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight.
Oh,
Matt Morgan, we went on to LBC. I was in the same room as Katie Hopkins. I got in there. I felt like it was the Thunderdome, Matt. I was frightened in there because she was initially very, very sweet. She invited me. We went downstairs to the LBC studio.
Ran there, giddy.
Giddy and high. We're putting the footage up online now.
Filmed it all.
I luckily had a pass to penetrate into the systems. I got right into the heart of the Death Star.
As soon as she saw Russell, she said, oh, Russell, come into the studio. She waved at first, didn't she? Looked a bit like, hello, what's going on?
Yes, sir.
Then I reckon maybe that she had a tip-off.
Do you think she had a tip-off?
She seemed a bit sort of...
No, she's probably got extrasensory powers. She's in league with He Who Walks Backwards. She used necromancy. Something dark was going on, dark
She said,
arts.
come in. And then when you went in, she had a go at you.
She invited me and then
Russell
had a go at me.
Brand.
What are you doing in here? It was like a cross between school and when Margaret Thatcher was in power. The feeling of being chastised. I was something about also even the space that she was broadcasting from. It was like a sort of a limitless. What?
It's bigger than this
Well, yeah, it was
studio.
like a limitless abyss.
It was, wasn't it?
It was on the precipice of another world.
She invited you in and then said, well, how rude.
What are you
Paul
doing
was
in
making
here?
an important point on the phone. And it was like, well...
I didn't know about Paul from Croydon who was on the phone. I ended up talking to Paul from Croydon, but I couldn't hear him because I didn't have cans. Who knows what point Paul from Croydon was making? And then, as I was leaving, Matt, she blamed me for the Tory government getting into power.
I know. Well, she thanked you, actually.
Did she
said, thank you for thank you for helping the Tories get into power.
She's not all bad, old Katie Hopkins, is she? But I must say, what was extraordinary about it is... it's a feeling I've not had many times, except once I was trapped in a zoo overnight and I went up to the tiger cage, and when the tigers were off duty, they had a...
You weren't trapped in a zoo, you entered a zoo illegally overnight.
Illegally.
With your clothes off.
Yes, I did.
With a
do
girl.
that. I pretended I was in Eden. Those were beautiful, jolly, drug-fueled days. Well, my point is I felt like I was... I mean, it's only... Katie Hopkins, she's just off The Apprentice, isn't she?
Yeah, she was a contestant, but now she's... Yeah, that's her, that's her spiel, isn't it?
Cruelty monger. Cruelty monger.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
also
yeah.
maybe people must like her because she's on LBC, must they?
Well, obviously, what we blundered into, because I can't remember his name. It's
Is that man of Quilliam?
Yes, Quilliam Foundation. So they
That
were obviously
Muslim
talking
geezer
about
off of
Islam.
Quilliam.
So it was probably quite serious when we turned up.
Of course it probably was. We could have debates about religions as well. We're serious as
We've
well.
got sound effects
Wait
too.
a second. Look at that. See, we can do that. Alternatively, all of the faiths are being covered. It's all happening. Now, the competition lines are actually closed. It was the Rebirth competition to win 2 tickets to see me in Southampton. The question was initially going to be, can love cure evil? I've had to revise my view. I'm not sure. Any more?
She's going to
She's
come in.
coming by. She's coming. Kate Hopkins
really?
is by the window. I've glanced her. She's coming in. She's got to pass us. Here she comes.
Here
Right.
she comes.
Now we've got to get on target now. This is the
What
time.
mic?
This is
What
it.
mic?
Focus up. Katie, come in. I'm not sure which mic's live. Neil, come and put one up to stop this religious music.
Oh,
Because we
it's
are
evangelical.
talking about faith. Oh, Christ.
Guns N' Roses.
Wait a second. The desk's gone mad. Katie, there's a gremlin in the machine. What's going on? Ever since Kate Hopkins, there's a chill in the room.
Dastardly chill in the air.
What was going on LBC there, Katie?
I was trying to talk to my lovely caller Paul from Croydon, and you came in and you kind of just kiboshed his little call. I felt
Well, of
sad
course
for him.
you invited us in, Katie.
Well, I waved to your producer in the thought that you were going to wait till you saw the red lights were off because you would know that a studio was live. wouldn't you,
we don't know
Russell?
that.
No.
You're kind of professional in any regard, which you're clearly not because you're incompetent. You
Katie,
know.
you do this the whole time. I thought that this thing was
Russell, what?
shtick, but now I see that it's actually your true
Neil.
nature. Before you came into the
I
studio...
literally secrete sulfuric acid from my vagina.
Crikey, there she goes.
My chair is dissolving under me as I speak, Russell.
We'd have been pondering on the show whether or not love is truly the answer, whether you can love people back to health.
I think you can kill something with kindness, and I do that, but my particular brand of kindness is venom.
It is, and I've not seen too much of the old kindness. Now, like my own spiritual leanings make me believe that in any situation, and this one would be a particularly good example,
Yes.
that we can resolve situations through benevolence, joy, and kindness. Now, this is shtick when you do that sulfuric immigrants don't matter stuff. You don't really mean it.
I do mean everything I say. And the thing is, Russell, the reason people listen, the reason I have more listeners than you, is because, of course,
Quality, not quantity, Katie. And also, we're doing very well on the podcast charts. Your name was nowhere to be visible, but if we were to look at the charts of pure necromancy and darkness, there she was, bewinged and fanged, straddling like a colossus.
If indeed I were just a raving madwoman screaming naked at the rain, not only would people run away, they wouldn't listen. But the reason...
Well, this is one of the things we're querying.
The reason my clip, I suppose, at LBC has had the most... it's been the most viewed clip since launch is because people identify with what I'm saying, Russell, because you talk nonsense and I talk sense. And that's a very clear distinction, isn't it?
Well, I suppose linguistically you put a non in front of the sense, I suppose. But my concern is the nature of the vitriol.
Are these your three
Wow, monkeys.
Hidden,
Wow,
evil,
you're real good at
seen
designing.
evil.
I mean,
Now, Katie Hopkins
Three
saw
wise
a
monkeys.
black man, and immediately the word monkey leapt into her mind. I'm not an expert
people.
on psychiatry,
You're a long way
but
from
it's an
home, baby.
interesting social
That's
cue.
a very cute
Katie
way to go.
Hopkins calls black man
No.
monkey live on Radio
Russell
X.
Brand needs 3 individuals.
I don't know the
Voice round you. 3
Katie.
boys. 3 boys.
That's not how it works.
3
These are.
They're often accounted to them.
I'm just surprised to hear you giving Darwinism a chance. No, look, what I think, Katie, is that this is an important time where hatred shouldn't be given the kind of precedence.
Would you be able to do this show on your own? Would you be able to
He does
do it alone?
he does things
does he
on his
need
own.
you? Does he need you? Does
Katie,
he need, like, sidekicks?
Look,
to
this
work?
is how Katie Hopkins
so horrible.
works. It's just like, don't be so mean.
Katie, some people
Don't be
have-
so mean, Katie.
Come on,
Let's
boys.
love Katie.
Four boys,
Neil, come
keep
and queue
going.
up All You Need Is
Come on,
Love by the
let's have
Beatles.
some more people in here to help Russell.
And
because
what
he
we
can't
actually
do
need to
it on his own.
do,
He
we
needs
don't
more
want,
people.
my darling, I don't need help
More of
to
you.
annihilate you. You're doing it to yourself. Your liver and your spleen must be torn apart by
Beautiful.
oncological self-vengeance. What are you doing to yourself? Come back to humanity, Katie Hopkins. Come back. It's not too late for you to be compassionate and
Covered in your
joyous.
spittle.
It's you
We
have a
all
chance.
are.
Spittle, darling. Spittle everywhere.
We love you, Katie. We're
you,
going to
sir.
spit you back into love. There she goes, Katie Hopkins, a better woman than when she entered because of the power of love. We do apologise for our guest swearing, but she said a lot worse things. We're just grateful she's not saying that dead immigrants are meaningless. We do not. I still maintain we don't need the word irredeemable. Everyone can be
She's still redeemable.
I believe so. I saw, even when just before she walked out, I saw a light in her eyes. And, let's face it, we started it. I did pop down to her studio, didn't I? So, it was me that initially caused the problem. So, the fact that she came in
she
here-
did the shtick. And
She
then she was
really
like, thanks,
delivered.
boys, great.
Yeah,
Bye.
it's amazing. I mean, I just wonder what that feels like to be on the inside of. Not Jesus, not anatomically. I mean, psychologically. I've no curiosity, but but psychologically, what must that feel like? And it was interesting. The easy accessibility to the word monkeys.
Oh,
let her off that. Let her off that one.
Yeah, I mean, she could see in her eyes when she said it.
She did wince. She winced. I wish we'd had. She went, "Oh no, I've done it again."
No, I don't think she. Yeah, but weirdly,
I
she
actually-
had some sycophants herself outside. Not that we're sycophants, of course.
If you are sycophants, you need to work on your
We're
patter.
sick
I
of
need
Ross.
a lot more sycophancy. I've never had people make me feel more.
I know, we're here
inadequate
to
than
take the
you, Peter.
mickey, not to support you.
That's right, and that's
My
that's
contract
always
says.
been our creed. There it is, in black and white. There it is. Take the mickey. What do you think about it? I feel slightly adrenalised.
I feel quite adrenalised when she started attacking
What about the
us.
swear?
I think
She
that-
said the B word.
She said the
That
B
rhymes
word,
with-
guys.
I think if she sends one of us to the hospital,
Right, yeah. I mean, what this is we're declaring
It's war.
an
It's
open
war.
war between compassion and hatred. But what can we do as compassionate people? Lay flowers at Katie Hopkins's place where she does her ritualistic sacrifices. Go to her sepulchre and her tomb and lay lavender there. Sing hymns. There's lots of tweets. She doesn't understand Matt and G being there because she doesn't know what it's like to have friends, says a lady called Jen. The best moment of radio has just happened, said Aaron Tyndall. Russell Brand versus Katie Hopkins on Radio X. Fantastic. So probably all of these radio stations are owned by Global, so that's sort of probably how the real world works. It's all taking place within one sort of crucible. This is from Nosy Ash, listening from Hungary. I'm interested to know whether you feel, it's changing the subject. I'm really interested to know whether you think your recent university studies have the power to blunt your innate intelligence.
They're not
with it.
changing the subject. You are by
Relatively
reading it.
narrow. No, I can't control these tweeters.
Let's stop talking about Katie Hopkins. Talk back about the university.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting point. Does academia change your natural intuitive intelligence? I mean, when she was there, it did feel weird.
I saw the old look in your eyes.
Did you?
Oh.
What I was about? Really, the old Mad Russ. You saw Mad Russ.
See
come
your
back.
eye, like, because she was attacking you.
So-
You get this frozen look.
Yeah.
And then, but she had it a bit as well.
Oh my God! You don't
I
think we're
thought,
meant to be together?
Because I was in the perfect place. I thought,
We cancel each other out like those two people at the end
Spark, yeah.
of Ghostbusters. No, what I think.
playing with her warts.
No.
Sorry.
What happened, I think, is that I respond to that kind of energy because, and as usual, it was your idea.
I'm always the instigator in these
It was
things.
your idea. You said
not
go
the
down
chuckling
there and look at
puppeteer.
Katie Hopkins. You sent us down. Now there's a grown up at the bloody window.
Oh, no,
a
we're
producer.
in
Don't
trouble.
let her in. Don't let her in. Just keep doing radio. It's okay. It's all okay. We started it, and then she came up here. She was bound to come up, wasn't she? Who's that? Where are you
work
from?
at LBC.
I work at LBC.
I want to get a...
Don't let
she
her
wants
in.
something to sign. I'll let her in.
What? All right, let her in. Let her in.
Let's be nice
Let's
to
be
her.
nice. She wants to sign something. Okay, there's a lady from LBC coming in.
She wants her autograph.
Katie Hopkins.
No, something legal's happening.
Is there
at the moment.
something with a gate suffix happening, Matt? Is this going to have a gate after it?
Come back. Oh, hang on.
She looks really nice.
She looks
that one's
so
got the
nice.
same colour as hair, because Katie Hopkins has got that lavender sort of hair now. See, the word lavender was in my mind the same way that the word monkey was in Katie Hopkins' mind there, because I just looked at Katie's lavender hair. You'll notice I said the word lavender a moment ago as one of the things to let her sepulchre, because Katie Hopkins' white hair has been dyed lavender. Now, this woman that's just come to the door, the producer from LBC, also has lavender hair, and it looks like Katie Hopkins
It's made her...
self young, or has made her producer dye her hair like it's a team
She's
colouring.
copied her producer, who's quite young and attractive.
Yes.
Or she forces everyone who works with her to have purple hair like her.
That's the livery, that's the pageantry, that is the Katie Hopkins flag.
What's
that you've
going
got
on
to
out
have
there?
lavender hair. I don't know. Our producer...
This first got the
has just
feeling like
left.
we've made a big mistake, but I don't think we have.
I feel like we're safe. I mean, there was some swearing, which I think we've apologised for.
She swore.
That's, yeah, we went down to her radio show. I was pretty polite in there, as I recall. There was nothing unusual happened.
You were beckoned in eagerly. You went in,
I was
and then she had a
beckoned
go at you.
Rusty Rockins, that was... oh, look, the campaign begins. That was amazing radio. Please don't sack him. Russell Brand destroying Katie Hopkins on Radio X. But I bet, says Ant Stockdale. But I bet some people...
I bet the LBC tweets.
Yeah, they go, good, you took him down a peg or two. You've really showed him what. That's a much needed kick in the nutsack for Brand. What's next with him?
Yeah, that's what they
It
will
must
be
have been
doing.
amazing when we said we were going
They'll be sending their Morse code in now, sending up their pigeons and smoke
I wonder
signals.
if anyone listened to us, then went, I'll put on LBC, then heard us go there, then went back to us and heard
That would be brilliant.
That would
If
have been
you did
amazing.
that, send us an email, russell@radiox.co.uk. If you heard that, if you were like your own personal disc jockey riding between LBC and Radio X, hearing what's sure to soon have the word gate after it unfolding. Matt is the Wizard King, says Amy Haycock. That's Amy Haycock's
I'll take
words.
that.
G is frantically writing poetry in a way that I've not seen for about 8 years now. Gareth there is consulting his solicitor. And competition, Gareth Roy, blamed for many a radio scandal. Okay, but the competition is closed now. If you want to come and see me, Russell Brand, in Southampton on my rebirth tour on May the 2nd, then, you can probably, because the reason, let's be honest, we did this competition was to draw attention to that gig. And part of the reason I'm on the radio is of course to raise my profile, because I'm a live entertainer, and see what happens to me when I work in this kind of media, Matthew Morgan.
Well, you haven't done anything wrong.
I've not done it. Let's
At
maintain
first,
a
we just
hard
wanted to look at
line.
her through a window. We were making a video. She beckoned you in.
Let's get this in
that
order
went
when
to
it
the
goes
next
to court.
level.
We were like, you're right. So phase one. We need David Sherborne, media lawyer, in this studio now. So yeah, what phase one was, we went down just to look at her through a window to see if she was real or if she was just made
And
out
to
of
reach
mirrors.
out, I
reach out the hand of love.
said, remember, on the way down there, I said, go like that,
Yeah,
and you said,
did.
don't do that.
Yeah,
Let's
I said
show
be
her
loving.
love.
We've got the video. We've got the video of me being loving.
on video.
Let's get that up online. That's going to be evidence. That's
She
evidence.
beckoned you in, like, oh yes, please come in, quick.
One single scaly claw was raised, and she beckoned me. I think she offered me an apple, and then that apple withered as I went to bite it. Yes. So, so we went in there. I think this is all okay, isn't it?
Oh look, morally it's fine. And then she came
Morally.
in here. The only person who said a swear word
Was Katie Hopkins. And the
who
only
said-
person that's ever said things like refugees are swarming like rats, that's Katie Hopkins. I did do a bad thing once in the past, but
She
we
said
apologise
she
for
did
that.
say shoot the refugee boats.
Cockroaches, describe them as cockroaches.
She did say that. That can't be right, can
So
it? At a
really,
time when we
you-
need to be loving.
If you've gone, if that's your adversary in this, then that's not too bad. Makes you look good.
Philip says Katie Hopkins' hair is not lavender, it's UKIP purple. Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, is that what it probably...
That's what someone says. Could it be that?
No.
Danny Fresco says calls it Hopgate, although Hopgate was actually what they called it when my film about the Easter Bunny came out. So we've already done a Hopgate. It's got to be a new gate to count. All right, are we supposed to play some records while we all get ourselves together, get David Sherborne, our lawyer, on the phone right now and see what the hell's going on? But let's remember that this is ultimately a commercial enterprise.
At Radio X.
Yes. Keep communicating. There's a police car outside. I can't imagine this is actually a legal issue, really, is it?
Not to the
Katie's-
point the police are there.
No, it's not. I mean, we've been in bigger jams than this, haven't we, Matthew? She's still stalking the corridors. She just walked past. Okay, so the winner of the competition to win tickets to the Rebirth tour in Southampton is Josh Weinstock. Should there be some celebratory music? Of course there should.
It's the one time. Oh, that's nice. What's that?
Well, pure consciousness. That's Buddhist monks, can't
Made
they?
him reflect on his win.
Is your win really going to help you, mate? Will it prevent you from ultimately dying? Does it even matter if there's a bit of a scandal?
That's the one point where it's actually right to have a bit of music.
All right, hold on. How about that? What about this,
Short,
though?
but perfect.
Shame I can't, actually go between them. Isn't it?
You can, I think. You just have
There's
to...
too many buttons, mate. It's too many buttons.
I
Okay,
looked
well
at
done,
Neil
Josh
then,
Weinstock. You've won that
looked at you
competition.
Yeah.
But
You can, but
a normal
Russell
person will be able to do that. Josh, you'll be getting a pair of tickets to see us
Woo!
In Southampton. Yeah, that was good. Good
and
atmosphere.
the correct answer was that Russell does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh yeah, of course I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
In case anyone...
For a moment, didn't fall in. It was
when you're driving or something's
Yeah.
happening and you think, oh, they never gave the answer.
It's unsatisfying. It's unprofessional. It's like
Closure.
coming into someone else's studio and using the B-bomb, one of the dirtiest sex words that Jesus ever invented, was just flung about like confetti in here. Hey, we still don't know what was going on with the Lavender Head
I
crew.
don't think she feels like... That,
Any
that was really
emotions?
awkward and but
She's
I
just out
enjoyed
there
it, because it was interesting that it was happening. But
Yeah.
to her, I don't think she gets adrenalised by conflict.
No, I think that might be it. I think that might be why there's such a problem going on. Well done, Russell, says Sarah Kendall. You lasted a week. See you in a few years. This is from Darren Cameron, which I think is a pseudonym for David Cameron. Finally, someone in the building has the balls to tell Katie Hopkins what an arse she is. Keep it up, Rusty Rockets.
You just said balls and arse.
Oh, golly, I'm worse than her, aren't I? And I've got a few opinions on people that are slightly different, that have moved across a border. This one's from Scott Bishop. Katie lives on a donkey sanctuary in Devon, which is run by a husband who has his ears pierced. She's a fake, a phony and a fraud. Ian Shaw.
How's that
What
proof that she's a fraud?
Well, because she cares about those donkeys.
Husband
Like
has
on
his
donkey.
ears pierced.
Well, he's like a gadabout, isn't he? He's a man on the edge. He's a countercultural hero.
Sanctuary.
She lives on a donkey sanctuary. She loves those donkeys. See?
So
G,
donkeys-
redeemable. Totally redeemable.
Let's
Fear not.
bring one of the donkeys on the show.
See how they're getting on.
Donkey. No,
Get me out of that sanctuary! It's probably like that.
She writes us.
She cropped me so hard in the ass. She brought me into that sanctuary, then kicked me straight back out again. Oh. It's like that Donkey Island in Pinocchio. I bet you them
they
were
were all
boys when
teenage
they arrived.
Oh, yeah.
They were probably lads. Probably
Refugee lads.
They were refugee lads over from another country. She's turned them into donkeys, got them in her sanctuary. Oh, Piercy Lobes, her husband's kicking the crap out of them even now while they try and play billiards and chuff on cigars.
On a more boring point, that's quite a commute to do our show.
That's a long way to come.
Maybe that's what's made her so angry.
She's been in traffic. There's too many bloody people here. If we could kick a few of them out, I'd be in.
All that way home.
I was
to
in what-
reflect, and then she thinks, stinks of donkeys, I'm home.
She's back. She drives with an eye mask on, using ESP to guide her. She's her own sat-nav. It's only when the stench of donkey aroma rises up into her snout that she steps out of her black cabbage, kicks one of her black stallions. Oh no, probably pulled by the donkeys. I don't know how it all works.
What
It's a
are
complex-
donkeys?
Donkeys, mate, they're just a form of horse from another dimension. It's all they've ever been. It's all they'll ever be. They're
You're not allowed to ride them on the beach anymore, so what do they do?
That could be it. Well,
not
they're all around
working
Katie
animals.
Hopkins, aren't they? Around Katie Hopkins' sanctuary, stroke donkey brothel. The donkey brothel for the damned. No, I'm using it as a point to say that is evidence of compassion.
Redeemability.
Huh?
Redeemability.
Yeah, redemption. We must all be redeemed. Because if we have love for one, perhaps we must
Looking
have
for a
love
button.
for all. Hold
What
on.
button's he looking for?
There we go. Yes, there is a chance, a hope for all of us. If Katie did not our Lord ride into Bethlehem on a donkey? Yes, he did.
It's come full circle.
Hold on a second, let's turn some of these off. I didn't mean that one, I just meant the Christian one for that. Did not our Lord... Wait a second, just pretend you didn't hear the last bit. Or the Katie Hopkins stuff. Did not our Lord go into Bethlehem on a donkey? Yes, he jolly well did now, didn't he? So you
I don't think
get
it's
the
Beth-
idea.
Was it?
Oh, no, he left Bethlehem to go to Jerusalem.
I don't know.
You're meant to be a Catholic. Why aren't you at
Always
church?
say this. Look, Jenny knows. Where was
Jenny?
you going?
Where's he
Back
going?
to Bethlehem.
Going back to Bethlehem. I'm back, baby. It's like me.
I got a donkey now.
It's very much the theme of this show. Christ riding back into Bethlehem on a donkey.
On his monkeys.
Oh. How do you feel about that? A bit offended?
Different.
It is
I did, but I did say that I'd said really feebly, we're here to counterpoint him.
we offer an alternative
a monkey.
I just shouted at her just to see the look on her face.
You did very
You
well.
look a bit worried for a second.
But now it's time for us to commit to love, I think. Let's just read a few more tweets, see what they say. 4 more years, say the brandy strippers, and they're never biased. Rusty Rockets was full of love. Rusty Rockets, you definitely should belly bouncer. People that's Chris Jones there, using the culture of this show, which has always been a culture of mayhem, chaos, but ultimately love, to chide dear Katie Hopkins, who she's got a donkey sanctuary and she's got the light of the Lord in her eyes and she's got lavender in her hair and her husband's earrings are pierced and she lives in Watford, and I was in Watford in the week and I tell you what, they're some of the loveliest people.
Oh, it's in Watford.
It was Devon.
Devon.
I thought you said Watford. Oh, the person was from Watford.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Maybe it's because
that's what's going on about how long the commute was.
Oh, yeah, that's a terribly long way. Well, Watford's not a bad commute, you wouldn't have said.
Devon, to come into London to do a radio show.
Devon. I would have liked it. Bit of rice pudding in the car, why not? Devon. What's the problem? What's the big deal?
Okay.
I was in Watford in the middle of the week doing my Russell Brand Rebirth tour.
On a tour, are you?
Oh, yeah, have I not mentioned it, Matthew? My God, it's going well. Because they fill in surveys, the audience. One fella, his name was Alex. Like, we put, what are you most proud of? What's your sexual memory of which you are most proud? And he came up with something called #the danger W word, rhymes with Frank, Hank, Spank.
I know about that. Mm-hmm. I know someone who does it.
You know about danger WA?
I knew this bloke who was homeless who lived. I didn't know him. Well, I knew who he was, right?
Let's
but
get
a friend
your
of
facts
mine.
straight, Mac. Because if you're going to be a witness
I slept
in
with
this,
a homeless man.
if you're like this in the Katie Hopkins trial, a floundering wreck of a monkey, then we're all going down.
No, listen. Mm-hmm. I knew someone whose best friend was homeless who lived in a tent by a lake. Right? He practiced the danger W. We have a sign up that says this is shaky territory. Why has that happened?
Coming up, Green Door by a Mr. Shaken Stevens.
It's shaky territory, but I can get through it.
Children are listening. Kids listening.
Well, okay.
Well, they should.
I knew a friendly old man.
A lovely old man.
Lake,
outside Joe.
To do touch his tummy button.
He cuddled himself on the legs. Oh, dangerous.
Anyway, he would do that on a train, get completely naked between stations, put your clothes back on, and that's what it was called, the danger.
Right, but this is a homeless gentleman, and there's usually mental health issues and often
don't
addiction
bring it
issues.
into that. He was perfectly fine.
Well, this guy Alex was not homeless. Matthew, you've interrupted me with the tale of a fragile man comforting himself on a carriage when I was about to tell you about Alex, a free person living at home who would summons his mum from downstairs, enter on said activity, and try and do it. Well, he committed to it on paper. And
well, you go, Mum, and then
then you see if you can finish before her arrival. Anyway, this has been told. We've been told this is shaky territory. People, let's get back on.
Let's not go
normal,
down to Katie Hopkins
healthy
level.
ground. How could we possibly? Why don't we just listen to the
That's
Libertines?
a lie, though. He doesn't do that. No one does that.
People do it. We'll listen to. Oh no! Please be quiet, all of you Christians. How many more times do we have to tell you? All right, let's listen to the Libertines.
Okay,
pull ourselves
calm
together.
down.
We've had a lovely competition. We've had a bit of fun. This is only national level news at best. At best, national. This that no one else cares.
No questions
outside of
in
these
the House of
islands.
Parliament this time.
No one. This is definitely not getting mentioned by a Prime Minister or a Trumpkin or what are the others?
Conspiracy theorists would just say they're all on global media.
That's right.
Outlets. This
And I'm
all
with
planned.
the conspiracy theorists
It
on
was
this
all
one.
planned. We've followed this script here.
Yeah.
Even me, and I said I didn't want to be called a monkey.
You're quite right. I tell you what, the conspiracy theorists are right. And for those conspiracy theorists, don't look back into the sun, which in that language would be the Illuminati symbol in the middle of that bloody
Just press
triangle.
the button.
The Libertines, they're fantastic. You'll listen to Russell Brand on Radio X. This is, well, let's call it what it is. One of the better podcasts in this country. Neil, can you let Matt in? He's still locked out, having gone for his wee, bless him. Get him in here before Katie Hopkins sucks his blood out for more lavender hair dye. Yeah, and you could be listening to Russell Brand Under the Skin. If you think this is a bit erratic and crazy and lowbrow, and why would you, though? Because there's all sorts of peculiar references. If you know where to find them, have a listen to Under the Skin. Also available on the old internet, depending on what type of phone you've got. You're right, Matthew, how you feeling?
Yes. How do you wee so quick and get back?
Just do most of it in my trousers. Come scrambling back here. I'm a real bag of nerves.
Itchy later.
Yeah, and I'll pay a price when I'm on stage at Dartford. So your mum's coming, Bob and Sue. Come and see me at
So you're
Dartford.
playing Dartford tonight?
That's right, mate. That's
The
finally.
Orchard Theatre. I've played there. I've performed on that
I
stage.
don't know that you have. What was that when you used to be a magician's assistant?
Ooh, when I was in a band.
Ooh, what? Court Jesters of Mercilessness.
Jesters of Malice. I don't even know if we were called that then. I think we were called
How
Sanctuary.
did you get a gig at the prestigious Orchard Theatre?
There was a thing called the Battle of the Bands, and we didn't win it.
You were in the battle, though.
We were in the battle, though.
And
Yeah.
isn't that the main thing in a way?
I think winning it would have been nice, but
That's right, because
unfortunately,
there
I'm
is a
tone
function
deaf.
to battle. Are you?
Yeah,
Sadly?
I only
You don't
got
know the different tones. You can't hear
no
them.
rubbish. You know when we used to sing at the beginning of our podcast,
Yes,
and I'd listen back
yes.
to it, and I was horrified at how bad it was.
But what
On
about
my
me, though? My
No,
voice
you're
was
good,
always
yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, da-da-do, la, la, little lovely world we live in
Lady
together.
rocking.
We've only got 20 minutes more show, probably
Ah.
a little bit of adverts to go in. Come on, let's do a nice news story. Let's help someone. Let's make sure we've done at least one nice thing on this wireless show today. Hi, Russell, Matt, G, Noel, says Phil. Noel's not here because he's in Venice looking at the art of Damien Hirst. He's got a big new
Really?
art show out, hasn't he? Oh, it's ever so good. Was it Treasures from the Improbable or the something?
You still
like
mates
that,
with Damien
Implausible?
Hirst?
Borderline. I'm trying to keep it alive. I send friendly messages once in a while. I just leave something on his doorstep, you know.
I
just-
sometimes dream of
a
making
mouse.
something and getting you to.
Well,
send it
those
to him.
hulks you wanted to make, those
Wanted to make
hulks
some-
with penises you were interested in making, weren't you?
Yes. I
Well,
was
I
going
think
to make
you
some
should-
artwork.
Well, I think you should do it. I think I've always believed in you as an artist. I think even your doodles that you've done there, you've done a lovely spiral, a vortex, and some squares.
All right,
All
then.
great
Well, can you help
geometry.
me sell some
Of course I
artwork
can.
to Damien
Let's
Hirst?
start tweeting these pictures that Matt's done,
No,
Jen.
not these.
No, they're worth a
Screwing
pretty
them up.
penny. Don't screw them up! Oh, you silly boy! He's eating them! He's actually eating his own art, which in itself is a kind of art. You're a genius, my man. Now then, so listen to this. Someone here says, I think Katie Hopkins runs a llama farm in Brixton. Well, that's a Buxton. Do you add? Do you really?
Llamas?
I'm showing how many times I've listened to the old shows, but Matt's band was called Subculture. No? Says a,
Yeah,
says
it was.
a
It
listener.
was at one point.
That's Jen.
I mean,
says
you
that.
know, when you go back to the original days of the
Let's not
band,
turn this into an interview as if we're talking to Tom Petty and all the various incarnations of your
it
career.
was all just schoolboys doing covers. So.
Hold on a second. It's Palm Sunday, so Jesus rode a donkey to his death today. Radio X. I do not like that.
Well, it's Palm Sunday today, so that is. We were talking about that, and it's today.
We're being punished because we didn't honour the Lord. I told you we should have been more religious. I've told you time and time again, we're meant to come with one unifying faith that pulls together the people of all of the different religions, respecting their differences, and instead of which you pull us into a shambles on Palm Sunday, one of my most favourite days. You silly ass! Oh, you silly ass! This is from Phil. He actually requires help, and by God, he's going to get it. I'm still in love with my ex-girlfriend. She broke up with me in November, or Movember, as some people call it, and immediately started seeing her best what?
People who grow in moustaches for charity.
I don't know why they do it, mate. I've just heard people say Movember, and I respect that, yeah? Because they people of different faiths, have different moustaches,
God.
yeah? Let them do what they want, yeah, man? Who are you to stand in their way, to stand on their path? She started seeing her best guy friend, who she told me she had no feelings for. I found myself in a new relationship, but I can't stop thinking she was the one. How do I stop thinking about her, or should I wait and hope she comes back? Help! I'm so happy you guys are back on the airwaves. Please stay a while. This was written before recent events, sadly, by Phil.
That's
Phil.
a difficult one. That.
You've got to let go of your feelings. I think he's a romantic, this guy, Phil,
You know
isn't
what
he?
I would say though?
Go on.
Set your current girlfriend free.
Oh, yeah, if you don't love her,
I've
set...
somehow fallen into a relationship.
Yeah, you can't fall into a relationship.
she
It's not a
doesn't feel like
portal
that.
to another dimension.
Oh, God, oh no, I'm doing this now. Oh, she
Oh,
probably
look
loves
what's
him.
happened. Oh, no. I've joined a gang. I'm in a cult. I'm underneath the sea beds. I'm investigating new deep aquatic sea lives. These things happen as a result of will, attention, and intention, my
You
man.
should also write a list of all the things that he didn't like about his ex,
This is good.
right?
That's the Paul McKenna method. That he
Yeah,
tried
because
to use on Russell.
what he's doing is he's just romanticizing over a past that probably didn't really exist. So if he just writes all the things he didn't like about his ex, like going with some other dude that annoyed him, you know,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
do this to me.
Listen to him instead of trying to. embellish what he's saying with music.
Wait a sec.
Exactly.
X.
You know,
Every time.
Oh, your ex. I
I'm
see
just
what
helping
you're
the
doing
radio
now.
show.
X go and give it to you. Is that your advice?
Well, that's what.
Go give it to you.
The X is going to give it to you, but why take my word for it, my man? Let's listen to. No, it's not you. You've had your chance. I meant this.
X go give it to you.
Look, come on, make a list. No, gee, don't get crestfallen. Don't get crestfallen simply because I've ignored you for another component of my job. I ride this desk now.
Make a list.
And you guys are going to have to accept
Make a list of all the things that realistic things he didn't like about his ex.
Yeah.
Right? and then, so every time he has these like remorseful, romantic, oh, I wish, whatever, just have that realistic list.
What if the list has
weigh it
got
up?
one thing on it? The way she brushed her teeth. And that's all. And then he'll look at the list and go, oh, there was only that.
The way you
Start writing
sip your
songs.
tea, the memory of all that.
Become a poet.
When Russell had a
No,
similar
no,
problem,
you
Paul
can't take
McKenna
that away
said,
from
instead of
me.
having a list, he said, imagine her head on a dog's body. Things like that.
I know how to solve this problem. The riddle of still feeling feelings for an ancient bygone loved one. Imagine her head on a Dalmatian. You'll be right as rain in no time at all.
Dalmatians. Oh, God, there's 101 of her now, and I love every single one.
Hey, you, I know what I'm doing. You can all relax. This is all under complete control. I've got a bit of apple inside of my mouth. You should have seen yourself when Sunta the news lady came in here.
Yes, see, tell the listeners.
Sunta the news lady came in here.
She's not offended, nothing went wrong. It was just because there was too many people for the mics.
Too many bodies, she said. Too many bodies. That's what she said. I heard her say it. Now, she said that the Katie Hopkins bit, this is not my words, this is the words of the news, was good. Didn't she? Didn't she say it, Matthew?
She didn't, I don't think, as a representative of the company.
Right.
They'd
What
get
was
in
she saying
trouble.
that as? Just as a
Person.
passerby?
Yeah.
She's a bystander. Yeah. She's an innocent victim. Isn't she?
She is, yes, in many ways.
Shame. We'll look for how she reads out the news when we're on it. Boy's older prom date denied, because this is another kind of news, our news. A school in Oklahoma refused to let a pupil take his grandmother to its school prom because she wasn't under the age of 20. And presumably because she's his grandmother and incest is illegal.
I don't think he was planning to...
Why is he
use
going
this
to all that
seduce
trouble?
her.
Why go to all the trouble of taking her to a prom date, dressing her all up, getting her tipsy, putting her in the back of a limo, if you at the end of the night there's not a little sweet something? Why would you bother? Why would you bother? Bryce Main asked his grandma, Catherine Main, oh God, to be his date to the special event because she'd never gone to her own, but the school denied it with a statement. Prom guests are all to be around the same age for safety reasons. Quite right. The school says it's previously turned down other requests to bring older dates. Bryce's sister Sarah says the school board is afraid that if they let Bryce bring his grandmother, others will want to come to future proms. I don't think there's going to be a craze of this grab a granny for the prom, is there?
That's not something that would catch on.
Hang on a minute. Why
Although
would I
he's-
take a sexually compatible young person when I could be taking an elderly relative? Grip her by the varicose veins, tug her into the back of the limo, and tonight's my night. Oh dear. Have another sherry.
First
Have
thing,
ano-
he's a nice person for taking his name because she never went.
He's a nice guy,
That's
Bryce.
good.
All right, Bryce is a great guy.
Good.
You've convinced me.
Also,
Love
it's
is the
good that
answer.
he's undermining that thing they have in America where you're
Hmm.
like, that's, in the politically correct future, I reckon they'll get rid of this prom.
Yeah, it's a wrong dynamic,
Very
is it, mate?
sort of,
What's wrong with it?
Well, it's very...
'Cause I'm about to get
It's a
worked
bit
up.
heterosexual.
It's a bit heteronorm. It's a bit cisgender in these modern times where we're all trying to just advance ourselves. And I say, in these modern times, why not take your granny? And if you want to make love to her on the way home, no, that's too far. Now, what you've done there, Bryce, because that was Bryce who done that, is he's gone too blooming old
At
far.
the end, it says an Indiana teen has taken his 93-year-old great-grandmother to the prom.
I see.
That's his great-granny.
I see your grandmother, and I raise you a great grandmother.
I see your great-grandmother, and I've gone get me a spade, baby, and I'm gonna dig up the ancient relatives of yesteryear.
I read the other day that all taboo and eroticism rise up from our fear of death. That's what I read, mate.
Where did you read that?
Someone called
On a
George
pad you just
Bataille.
read?
No, George Bataille. Someone gave me some... Do you know what people bring me now? In the old days at my gigs, people used to throw knickers. Now they throw books. I think sometimes quite heavy books with the edges sharpened. So I feel like a goalkeeper with 10 pence pieces been hurled. No, they bring me books. And this one lady, she was called Hattie. She bought me a book called The Reborn Pagan, which is a very, very thick and heavy book. I think it's red. And then there's some books by this man called George Bataille, and he talks about the emergence of eroticism, eroticism being our negotiation with death. And I must say, I'm finding the whole thing.
I don't think that's true at all.
Well, I suppose it's like a way of. Well, he says, this George Bataille, that we're trying to negotiate with the eternal, with oneness. That on some level of our consciousness, we know there is a unity, and we don't want to be trapped by the temporariness of the
I just
human
think
body.
people have a primal urge.
What
And
do you mean?
Well, we're not in control of that. We're meant to procreate.
Yeah.
So that's just your. That's
You think
not
it's
even
just biology?
Like breathing in and out is to make you go. Whoa!
Whoa, I don't mind if I do.
I'm so worried about dying. Whoa, look at her knuckles.
Oh dear, oh dear. Why would you not? I mean, you're quite right, I suppose. Oh, Matthew, what a day it's been. We're approaching the end of yet another career in radio. Yet another radio show, our second show on Radio X, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of joy. We've been laughing so much, say one of the brandy strippers, that our 1-year-old keeps clapping. Cannot wait to see the tour. Open brackets, promote tour, close brackets. Rusty Rockets, Rob Kemp. Rob Kemp says, fantastic show on Radio X, like a resurrection of Kenny Everett with additional danger, W asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Thank you there, Rob Kemp. And that reminds me that I've become friends with Ross Kemp.
Have you?
Yep, through jiu-jitsu, which I do. I done jiu-jitsu with Ross Kemp, so beat that, can you?
Blimey.
I was up against Ross Kemp. He's a powerful
Well, you actually
man.
fought Ross Kemp.
It was just me, Ross Kemp, and Chris, who runs jiu-jitsu. I was having to do self-defence against Ross Kemp.
I'd love to see pictures of that. Was any... There's no pictures, is there?
No, I wouldn't allow photographs of an embarrassing event like that. Ross Kemp tossed me around like a raggy doll.
Did he?
I was all over that
Is he good at
dojo.
it?
Well, actually, it was his first time going, and yes. I mean, I suppose it's all things are relative. I mean, like, you know,
Well, hang on, how did
he's
that-
very,
well,
very well bonded to the floor.
When you
Ross
got
Kemp.
there, was he just there, or have they told you, Ross Kemp's coming next time?
They goes, do you want to do this with Ross Kemp? They said to me down Genesis Gym, my mate Paul.
Yeah.
Sorry for eating an apple, everyone. I know that's horrible. I'll take it out. They go, do you mind next time you do a jiu-jitsu class, do you mind Ross Kemp coming? And I went, of course not. It would be an honour.
I'm sure, and this is more evidence to the fact that they use you as a sort of practicing thing. Because when Ross Kemp went, I've never done this before, but I'd like to learn. We have this guy who comes in, and you can just basically toss him around. He's a bit noisy.
Oh, me elbow! Oh, ground, let go of me neck!
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that.
Listen, son, I've held you down for free. You're out of the game. Shame I've not got that.
I don't think of him
ready.
as EastEnders anymore. I think of him as
Gangs.
Gangs.
That's what I think of. I love him. He's really nice. He's really sweet and lovely and kind. I've seen him down that gym a few times. And I must say, it's quite hard when he does, say, for example, a triangle on you. Now, a triangle, that's where they wrap your leg round your head and then they pull you into their groin.
No, how to do a triangle on his first time.
Because he's good and he's Ross Kemp. Have you seen that bit where them geezers held up a gun at him? He goes,
You're not going to shoot me.
I'm Ross Kemp. What you going to do, eh? Shoot me in the nut.
He
I'll
didn't
do
say
ya.
that, and he didn't grab himself like that. He just said, what are you going to do, shoot me? You're not going to shoot me.
I loved the way he did that. I really
I know.
admired Ross Kemp.
I almost
for that.
thought it might have been set up to make him look hard, but then actually...
I mean, the gun
it's
was like
pretty
a
real.
musket, but I still would have been scared. The gun was a bit of an old-fashioned little pipsqueak of a gun, wasn't it? Like it was, someone's going to try and shoot him with a pipe cleaner. But nonetheless, Ross Kemp showed balls of absolute steel.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you or I have reacted with a gun and a gang?
A gun? I learnt to fight on Russell Brand.
You're not going to shoot me on a gun. Oh, bloody hell, you are. You've got a gun. You look deadly. I'm out of here. Get out of my way.
Russell's not here today, so I'm fighting the mop from the cupboard. I found it very challenging.
I mean, it's a few steps up. I've got a splinter of the palm of my hand off the mop, and also it smells of damp washing, which Russell also did. So there is some continuity, but my jiu-jitsu improves week on week. Doof, doof, boom, boom, get a little.
You
Let's
should
have
have
him on
the
the
sound
show.
effect for that, shouldn't you?
I
Your
would love
EastEnders
that. Let me
drums,
have a
where's
look at-
that?
Hold on a sec. Let's go to my TV themes. RBT
What?
themes. Benny Hill. Oh, hold on. I know. All right. So, right, you be Ross Kemp. You be Ross Kemp and I'm me. Oh, Ross, that really hurt me.
I felt it was very passionate.
You're listening to the Russell Brand Show on Radio X. Anything can happen here. 1 minute we're skylarking around. Next minute, well, what are we doing? Bringing about a revolution in consciousness. We're wrestling with
Like
Ross
this
Kemp.
tea?
Let me
You
have
haven't
a
even
try of this
drunk
tea. What are you
it.
trying to do? Get a sponsorship deal?
Tulsi Brahmi tea is available. No, it's a friend of my wife's. got
Tulsi
us into
Brahmi
it.
tea?
It's lovely. It's Indian. It's
Tulsi
caffeine
Brahmi.
free.
It sounds like a weird combination of sort of like a Hindu idea and a Cockney Pearly King idea. Top the Barbie tea, tap the eight that's bait.
Sip
Give
it.
us a sip of your tea.
Try it.
I just can't bloody wait.
Oh, God. Hold on a minute. I'm changing. My hair's gone lavender. Oh, no.
Worked.
That's how it happens. It's
When she was in
delicious.
it, I thought, throw water at her. I obviously didn't do it.
Oh, right, like the Gremlins, like loads of little Kate Hopkins would have come off.
No,
her.
actually,
Oh, like
yeah,
Wizard of Oz.
I
I
didn't-
should have burned
didn't think
away.
that at the
That's
time,
sexist,
but that's
is it?
what
Gremlins. Bright light.
they weren't sexist.
They were sexist pigs, particularly Spike, and that little one, Gizmo. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could kick him. You little shits, you.
Oh,
What?
that's a swear word.
That's a dog, mate. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, you little-
Because he does look
right.
like a Shih Tzu, doesn't he? Yeah, come on, guys, listen.
Never.
Give me a bit of credit. I might have been out the radio game a little while, son, but yeah, I mean, I'm not wet behind the ears, am I? You know what I mean? I'm no one's mug. Let's have a look at the old Tweety Poos. Mark Omeroyd, Russell. Did you realise that Matthew Hopkins was the Witchfinder General, as portrayed by Vincent Price? Evil is in her genes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Mind you, he wouldn't have far to look, would he? His own surname provides the answer. But I don't agree with calling women witches because it's sexism.
Well,
Even
yeah,
if it's
I think
Kate Hopkins, that's wrong.
It's like a lot of pagan people were.
They were
burned.
out of order. Them women, some of
We
them
lost a lot of knowledge in burning them.
a lot of pagan knowledge went because of that. You bloody idiots! What have you done to our pagan knowledge? Oh, sorry, we were scared of her. She was probably just a gay person. Oh no, there was
Do you know
pagan
what?
knowledge
They
in
said
there, you idiots.
That's why they witches are meant to have broomsticks, because every woman at that time, every household had one of those broomsticks. So, it was like, here's the evidence. That's what it was, apparently.
Oh my God, she's got a foot! Right, so it's just they found something that would always work. Rusty Rockets, you're doing Matt's bidding for him again, says Amy Haycock. Yeah, you're right. Radio X.
Haycock said I was the wizard master.
She's changed her tune, mate. I wish. Radio X sounds like two teenagers trying to be DJs in their bedroom, says Zoe Belford.
It's not even that
There's
good.
three of us in here, and we're not in our bedroom.
Belfry?
I don't know why I said Belfry. I don't
tripped.
need a Belfry. I haven't got a Belfry.
I haven't got a croquet lawn.
I was just reading some Karl Marx on my croquet lawn this morning, and it occurred to me that we really need to work out how to have production
Belfry.
by the masses, not mass production. Now, it would take something of a genius, wouldn't it, to summarise this madness, this mayhem that began with silly news stories about Walt Disney, and continuing on the themes of Walt and Fairylands. Katie Hopkins came in here and there was a bit of a clash between LBC and X. There was a radio global sort of airwave war. I don't know.
East
call it
Coast,
what you
West
will.
Coast.
It's a bit East Coast. I'm the new biggie. That's how I'm. No, I'd be two-packing that. Definitely. Please, I like him. I like his tummy. Okay, so, but somehow we've got to summarise all this madness. That's what we do. We do it for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Poet Laureate of the show, Mr. G.
Okay, his poem's called The Quantum of Forgiveness. There's a principle of uncertainty that rides the function of a wave. An algorithm of the heart so Heimlich's rent can be paid. Can our palpitations save the nation? Abdominal thrustings from Hopkins, can redemption claim them? Are tricky whispers now renamed under a lavender spray? Invitations to the prom, so let the empty fluff have its day. Let us gather today and embrace the spirit of play. We know that haters are going to hate unless love leads the way.
Woo! Yes, Mr. G!
It's good.
Love wins. Love always wins. So to wrap this crazy thing up, Russell Brand Rebirth Tour. You've won a competition to see me in Southampton. Or buy tickets at russellbrand.com. Or you could listen to
wrap this thing up.
Under the
Sure.
Skin.
Another advert.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Under the Skin. Next week, I've got Noel Fitzpatrick Supervet coming on this podcast, if you can imagine
Oh,
that.
you're the other podcast.
Yeah, Under the
Oh, right.
Skin. Yeah. This podcast is sailing
I
up
knew you
the
were
charts.
starting at professors, now you're down to vets.
He's a professor.
Oh, right.
He's a professor of vets. He's a vet professor.
like vet detective.
Exactly, my friend. Like a vet detective, but probably even betterer than that. Okay, so I suppose it's basically time for us to say goodbye. Have you got any feelings, any reflections, any sense of self left?
Sum it up like this.
Oh, no, it's happening again. Will we be back next week, Mr. G?
I wouldn't. Let's hope.
Let's just hope,
Yeah.
hey? Radio X. We've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed riding this desk.
Sunshine outside.
Yeah, it's been
Get
two
out
good
there.
weeks. 2 good weeks.
2 good weeks. 2 good weeks. 2 good weeks. 2 good weeks. Okay, let's sail out of this on a tidal wave of commerce. We love you. We will always love you. Nothing can stop us loving you. Goodbye. Here's some commercial. Bye. Bye. Love you. Bye.